to explode. We just simply call it load to explode. The next motion, so you've done sagittal plane, you've done frontal plane, and then all the all-important transverse plane. So just take your right foot and rotate it to the right, and then just take your left foot and rotate it to the left. And when you put those together, it gets kind of fun, because if I take a step out here, you automatically, as Randy just took us through, said, hey, I'm gonna actually lengthen my body this way. When I take my step here, I'm gonna let my trunk and my pelvis go together. When I go in the frontal plane, I'm going to this side. When I go to the frontal plane, I go to this side. Transverse plane is really obvious. So what you have is this sphere of function that you allow the athlete to do that is bigger than the sphere that they need for the game of golf. Because then when they need to access those abilities of their body, at the ankle, at the knee, at the hip, at the knee bones connected to the hip bone, whole concept, then they'll be able to go out there and say, my great trainer, Randy, has taken me through this, and he's prepared me to reproduce my swing consistently and powerfully, effective and efficiently, over and over and over again. Now this is great for the greatest in the world, but I like what Randy said. It's even greater for kids who don't think they can play the game. Because many times we hand them a club way too early. It's first of all letting them enjoy the joy of movement, allowing them to be successful, providing ongoing encouragement with them, give them many multiple hits of success, and then all of a sudden when they have the range and they have the balance and they have the strength and they have the endurance and they have just the confidence and ability to do it, when we put a Nike golf club in their hand, then all of a sudden it becomes magic. They have this ability to go back in that transformational zone, put it all together, come down, hit the ball, see it take off, and get that great grin on their face and say, you know what, I think I'm going to love this game for a lifetime. And that's what's so powerful about us partnering with people like Randy, because they've been doing it for years. We just pick their brains and say, tell us what's the best of the best, because for Nike, we only want the best.
One thing I always want to stress is when I get a recreational golfer that comes to see me at Sea Island, and they say, tell me the 4 or 5 things I should do. I only have 10 minutes, I got a job, I got kids. So within this program, what's so great about the application is you can take the 2 or 3 or 4 best things you want to do right with you to the range. You can do them in the parking lot, you can do them in the gym. So when you look at the best players in the world, and we travel all over the country with them week to week, we want to replicate the warm-up pattern in their workout that they do in their warm-up before they play. So this is basically like a little mini tour program for any application for any player of any level or ability. So it's really fascinating to me.
Anything to add to that, Dave?
I think one of the things that distinguishes the Nike Golf 360 functional performance system, whether it's for analysis or training, from the other things that are out there, is just what Randy just said. You don't want to have to do 4 or 5 things. You might want to only do 2 or 3. You might only have time for that. The uniqueness of this program is that it's integrated. It doesn't look at the joints or the muscles in isolation. You can train something in isolation, but ultimately that's going to limit your success, because the only way that the golfer is going to be able to put it all together is to do the exercises while they're upright in the proper stance, while they're moving the body, so we call that integrated. So what Randy's saying is, if I'm giving someone an exercise that might be just what we did to actually load their hip and rotate their hands in the proper direction, they're also working on their feet, they're also working on their knee, they're also working on their trunk at the same time. And so it's efficient and it's also effective, because the body understands, as you heard earlier, it feels like golf, it looks like golf, and it's as close to golf as we can get it. That's one of the big things that distinguishes and differentiates this program.
I just want to say one other thing. What's great about this from the standpoint of what Mike Taylor and I do at Sea Island with Lucas is we try to simulate as best we can every event before our player goes back out on the road. So like last week Lucas was off. So on the days we worked, we got in there early, we went through our workout, we went through our warm-up, and he went and practiced, and then he went out and chipped and putted and played. So although that's an ideal scenario for most recreational golfers, it's not reality. So what we want to try to do is, if you have the time and you want to start a plan, and you believe that fitness is important to your overall performance, you've got a baseline. Here's what the best players in the world do, here's why they do it, and let's go ahead and get started. You're not out there searching around trying to find the information. So it's right online, touch of a button,
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, none of those exercises are, you have to be a +2 to do this one, or you have to be a tour player to do this one. They're all for everybody, and that's the beauty of it. And even if you don't go get a lesson, or you don't compare your swing to Stuart Sinks and say, well, here's what I do different, so I need to work on, you can just go on there and say, this is just gonna be good for me, or this is gonna be 4 or 5 things I can do that are gonna help me be loose when I go play, since I was at the office all morning, or anything like that. It's not tailored to anybody, it's tailored to everybody, which is the beauty of it. And then you can get into all of as much detail as you want with analyzing and with your teacher, or the player's teacher, your son's teacher, whatever. But as far as the fitness and the stretching and the exercises go in there, it's not for anybody, it's for everybody. And that should be stressed, because this isn't stuff that Randy just has me do. I go in, see him at 8. Well, the guy he's working with at 750 might be my grandfather's age, but they're still doing something similar, because the guy wants to improve 2 shots and beat his buddies out of $4. So it's not just for us. It's for everybody, and that's the coolest thing. And the most important thing they did with this is it's there for every level of player.
And again, I don't think you say it better than that. I mean, when it comes down to it, Bill Bowerman said it best: if you have a body, you're an athlete. But there's some kids in inner city Detroit who don't believe that. They don't have an equal opportunity to be taken care of as well as Lucas is taken care of. They don't have the best of the best. They don't have a Mike, and they don't have a Randy. But we want to come to them at Nike Golf and say, listen, it's true. If you do have a body, we're going to create this opportunity where it doesn't matter who you are, what you want to do. We're first of all going to gift your body with some fitness and some good health and good well-being and some balance and strength. And if you want to go out and play the game of golf, we will prepare you for that. If you want to go out and be a dancer, we'll prepare you for that. If you want to go out and even play the violin. So I really appreciate you adding that, because it's really, it's for, you know, I mean, this is the greatest golfer in the world. It's for the greatest golfers. But at some point, if I'm a parent, I want the best for my kids. And if it's good enough for Lucas, it's going to be good enough for my kids. And at some point, you say it's about time somebody figured that out. Whatever is great for these great athletes, these multi-million-dollar athletes, I want for the child who basically feels they have nothing. So it's a privilege to have you here, and have you here too, Randy, and of course Mike, and you all too. But I think it's kind of neat. Your emphasis is it's just the same things tweaked for the 85-year-old are the same things that us recreational golfers will tweak, that Randy tweaks up for Lucas, is very, very powerful.
They certainly get more intense, so don't fool yourself that we can't make this hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I can make pretty much any athlete fall over pretty quickly. But at the beginning stages, I mean, for those of you who are just talking about getting better at the game, balance is probably what the best players in the world all have. They're all very well balanced. From there, you look at flexibility as being the next most important thing, then stamina, and then finally strength.
Yep.
So, you know, what we've done is we've flipped this pendulum around, and we said that most people go, I want to start a golf program, go, I got to get in shape, I got to lift weights. Well, it's not that. It's all about balance, flexibility, stamina.